Today, German forces are pushing deeper into the Soviet Union as their supply lines have been cut by advancing German troops. The Soviets have one major defensive line left as we are now pummeling their current lines with artillery. Hello again, friends and fans. Raptor here, and welcome back to Men of War Assault Squad 2. Obviously a very large area here, very flat area in the Soviet Union as we're now crossing deeper into Soviet territory and trying now to capture one of the defensive positions over here. Soviets are obviously firing artillery at us, and it is now going to be our turn to fire back to silence those guns and capture that second position over there. Guns are moving up now, and we will go ahead and pound that position momentarily. And if you'd like to get this one for yourself, make sure you check down below in the description as well. We're going to go ahead and bombard these areas here, so hopefully we can possibly capture Soviet artillery, and that way we can have some more artillery to pound Soviet positions here. 2 artillery pieces there, 3 Katyushas here, and possibly more guns. Yep, even more artillery. So we'll have to get all of our forces ready to strike and push deeper into the Soviet Union right now. Alright, let's get our half-tracks up here to support the infantry. We're going to continue to bring troops up so that way we can get ready to push. Unfortunately, we're out of artillery guns, and some of our vehicles are even out of fuel as they've had to make some very, very deep pushes into Soviet territory. We're going to go ahead and continue to bring up troops then and see if we can find anyone anywhere that can be brought up. We also have a couple of Stug guns here that are ready to fire back at enemy tanks. They're very good at eliminating those. Unfortunately, they're not very good at anything else aside from hitting tanks, and it takes them a little while to do that. So I'm going to try to call up any other armor pieces that we might have or anything else we might need. So we have additional access to Panzer III, so we'll call that up to support us, and we'll see if we can get some more tanks up. All the flanks have been secured. Soviet troops have been cleared out by the Germans on the far western flank, and infantry is now pushing up to... oh, actually, wait a minute. We have, I see, 3 Panzer IIIs here, and there was a third one around here somewhere. Looks like that might be the only one. Looks like the Soviets are artillerying our tanks with artillery. That's not going to be very good. Not really going to do much damage there. So we'll continue to call out whatever we can. All right, we have a Soviet position here in the bushes there next to the trees. Germans should be able to hit that position. MG-34 firing right away. Excellent. Taking him out with pretty much little problem. We've lost a few men in our advance, but nothing major. The Soviets have probably lost almost 20 to 1 on each of our advances. I'm going to try to get some Stug assault guns up here so that way we can possibly lob some shells into their trenches. These guns can fire at an angle, and that'll allow them to fire down into these trenches, clearing out a lot more Soviet infantry faster. And it looks like the Soviet guns are firing yet again. And awfully close to our artillery, so we better be cautious. We'll have to fire back right away. Alright, so Barbarossa, 1941. Soviet troops are being pushed way back by the Germans. In fact, the Germans would succeed almost in reaching Moscow. In fact, pretty much they did. There was a battle for Moscow, or of Moscow, where in the winter there was quite a brutal battle, which was one of the first turning points of the war. German artillery now firing. And it looks like we've got some more wounded. Looks like a man there being treated by a medic right away. He's back up. Wounded by a blast. And our own artillery now firing on those guns. I can see some of the shells here hitting. There we are. Wounding some of those troops. Stugs are now coming up. And they should be able to provide some fire. I don't know why this guy has an exclamation point above his head. That's strange. Looks like he's actually falling back. Oh, I understand. Troops need to stay in this mod with squad leaders and such, or have commanding officers nearby in order to continue the attack. Kind of a way to balance it so that way you don't just push forward with droves of infantry with no leadership. So he might return to base. I think he was over there capturing a position, and I may have forgotten him behind the lines, so not a big deal. One man ain't gonna matter too much. The Soviets will be conquering our territory or positions if we're not careful. They do have access to a lot of T-34s, and they're counterattacking on occasion. So I'm going to try to continue to bring up as many guns as I can. And each time that we destroy an enemy unit or a vehicle or capture a position, we're awarded a lot of tanks from high command, points rather, and we'll be spending those on tanks. I immediately in my mind converted that over to tanks because obviously we're going to need a lot of those here in this open field. Alright. Infantry are getting ready to close in. I'm going to try to... Actually, I'm going to swing as far right as I can and see with the Germans if we can pummel that artillery position and get them to split up their guns. Right now they're trying to fire at our own guns. Luckily they're still intact. I'm going to try to get them to fire one more time over there. I want to try to hit these guns in the defensive position. If we destroy them, great. If we decrew them and can capture them, even better. There we go. That's what we're looking for. A couple of men killed, but not quite the operators. Alright, we're going to try to creep in on this trench now with both squads. So 11B and C are going to move up to that fortified position. And if we have any additional infantry, I'm going to call them up too, which we don't. Looks like they're now firing on our tanks. That's totally perfect. Not much they can do against an armored vehicle like that. Alright, we've taken a beating for a little while. But the Soviets have now lost one of their first guns. And it looks like an artillery piece even landed on their bunker or command position. Looked like it went right through the roof and knocked it out. I don't know if that was like that before, but just noticing it now. Very nice. Okay, armored gun. That's essentially our Stug support services, machine guns mostly. I guess not. Maybe that's under support weapons. Oh, looks like we don't get access to that either. No access to MG34s. The MG42, of course, not existing yet or being deployed to the battlefield, just currently being developed. So we don't have access to that. Not yet, anyway. Looks like there's a big group of Soviet troops between us and the other side. So let's go ahead and get ready to clean that up. That other half-track should have arrived by now with additional reinforcements. There it is. Let's swing that around. I'll keep this trench here occupied with men, so that way when we go back to the east side, when we try to attack up here, we'll be able to use those infantry to do it. So it seems like the Soviets are defending with the continuous same type of like consistency of units. Looks like they're always trying to defend with the 2 heavy artillery pieces and like an AT gun. So as long as we can hit that, we'll be alright. Alright, we have an M37 there. I think that's a 36mm anti-tank gun there. We're going to move the Stugs up a little closer. They shouldn't be able to deal with the Panzer IIIs very easily. Getting closer with our own infantry, we're going to be attacking from here and here. And having the tanks basically pin everybody down. Hopefully we don't lose a vehicle. We could lose some crewmen, but that's okay, considering the situation. Get a couple grenades in that trench, and let's see if we can capture. MG there is pinning the position. Now's a good time to move. Let's move behind the machine gunner. Let's double time it. Not a lot of Soviet defenders left. They're all pinned down. Alright, a couple of grenades out. Excellent. Nice machine gun position there, too, was decrewed. Hell of a lot of fire coming in now. Still a lot of troops here. They're hard to see, though, because they're not all inside this defensive area. Some of them seem to have possibly been trying to reinforce the position that we captured, and we're stuck between the rear guard and our position, and they didn't want to attack any further. Alright, let's get that half-track offloaded. I think this time, since we have most of our armor on the right side, I'm going to try to push right now. I'm going to bring up all the Stugs now so we can continue to bombard these positions quite easily. So hopefully what we can do is maybe bum rush this position. There's really not much in terms of any enemy anti-tank here, aside from that gun. And we can hit that with our artillery. So let's go ahead and clean out the road. Looks like this is a drainage ditch here, or a trench that apparently flooded. And the Soviets are not able to use it, or at least not occupying it currently. Alright, and I think we're out of infantry to call down. I actually don't know what company headquarters does, or anything like that, so let's give that a shot. I don't know if that actually would deploy anything. I haven't seen that yet in this game. I haven't needed it. So let's go ahead and set up a headquarters. I don't know what that'll give us. So let's make that our forward operating base, or whatever it may be. Let's see. We'll get the rest of our troops lined up here, the rest of our tanks to the front. And we might be able to capture Soviet fuel, too. Alright, things look really good here. We just need to clean up troops that are just between us and the road. And a Soviet attack incoming. Beautiful. Enemy artillery piece there that we can capture. Soviets will more than likely try to attack between our two positions now and attempt to recapture one of them. We do have a gun here that's been captured. So let's go ahead and get our artillery over to this side. We'll move both guns over here. We'll capture one of the guns as well. Very important to capture things like that. Let's grab a couple of riflemen. And I don't know if we'll have enough ammo to really... If it's just a few shells, I'll just turn and fire with what we've got. But if we have a good number, I'll try to turn it into a battery. It's probably not going to be much. Looks like 12 rounds. Yeah, alright. So it's not going to be worth capturing and bringing along with us, but it will be a good weapon to use to fire once. And that might be a good target for it, the AT gun there. But let's actually try to bring it to the right and get all of our units underneath here. We're going to try to use our units as a pry bar to get underneath the Soviets here and come up behind them at the roadway. And then we can use some of this lower terrain there. It's a little lower here, so we can actually get a lot of troops behind them and take out the Katyusha battery. But first we got to wait for that counterattack. And I don't know what's going on with the company HQ. Oh, there it comes. Looks like it's just a Kuba wagon. Wonder if that'll give us access to more guns. I'm not sure. Looks like we can actually have these guys come into the vehicle. And I guess we'll bring some of our units up. Alright, they're cool there, George. This seems to be the same consistency. Actually, that one of those is a radio operator. So I'm assuming we get artillery then. So we may have access to an artillery spotter. No, it seems to just be a regular rifleman. Unless the commander is the one that can call in the artillery. Ah, yes. Artillery signal gun. So this man, if he gets close to the front line, can actually call in artillery. But at this point, the guns that we have are more than enough. 30 seconds to the Soviet counterattack. I'm pretty confident in our ability to knock them down. Where is our flak guns? Alright, I'll bring flak guns up to the roadway. Even though we have 16 seconds remaining, it takes a very long time for Soviet tanks to get to our positions. And I'm going to continue to move our batteries over here. Looks like we have another battery that we can capture here. And we can just turn it around onto the Soviets. Whoa, 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 sir. Just a moment. Uno momento, por favor. There we go. Okay, both of those guys are done. And actually, this will be a position captured. We hadn't fully captured the position because resistance was still here, so we'll get additional points. And the T-34s may die to heat rounds from those Stug A's. We're seeing early T-34 76 1941 models. I think those look pretty cool. Alright, another area has been captured. So the initial forward line has been captured for the Soviets, and now their reserve in the rear with Katyushas needs to be captured next. And it looks like the Soviets might be retreating. Hopefully. That would make our job a lot easier to have them just retreat so we can clean up. Or so we don't have to clean up. Okay. Let's get ready to defend these. And I think the T-34s will be coming from the middle, so we'll keep these assault guns nearby. Hopefully we have two of them ready to go. Ammunition is starting to get a little lower. Let's go ahead and call up some ammo trucks. We might not have enough points, though. Nope, we'll just need to wait a little bit. 1 or 2 tank kills will give us all the points we need for probably the remainder of the defense. Might be a good idea to keep these guns together. Unfortunately, I don't think we can use the Soviet artillery piece after we've fired all of its rounds. The Germans don't have access to the supply, and it doesn't look like the Soviets left any behind either. Looks like they just left the gun. Well, the T-34s sure look intimidating, but we've been able to knock them out quite easily with the giant flak guns. And I don't have really a lot of fuel to bring up the flak guns all the time. I've been using half-tracks to usher them to and from the front. pull back a little bit. Oh, and a tank lost. May be repairable, but I don't think so. Nope. Alright, our first real tank loss of the game. See if this can do any damage. We'll get artillery pointed the right way. Oh, wonderful. One Soviet tank eliminated. Yep, very nice. Keep that tank crew there. Alright, so these Stugs are a little better than I thought they were. Penetration and track destroyed on that one. She's still operational. We can get side shots on these T-34s. Excellent. We've got Stugs here hiding up in the tree line. Knock over those cottonwood trees. Let's go. Well, I certainly don't mind losing a Panzer III. It's a Stug that might be a little more important. Unfortunately, I spoke too soon. One of those has been hit as well. Wow, those things are like paper, actually. They've been destroyed quite easily by those T-34s. They're usually quite better at taking out these types of tanks, but I guess a couple of lucky hits. The Soviets need to score a win, at least. Well, let's keep shooting. So it looks like the better Stugs here, the Stug F. Actually, don't know why our Stugs are not firing either. No line of sight? Oh, range. There we go. Well, I thought the Stugs might be a little more capable after their first kill, but it seems like I was right all along and not really trusting them for anti-tank duties. Really more just for throwing shells up over defensive positions, trying to destroy defensive guns. That's right, these Stugs will be a little better. There we go, let's shoot from here. Now this is the most trouble we've had breaking through. Alright, artillery is getting ready. This is more important anyway. The tank battle will result in a victory for us shortly. Just comes down to RNG now on what we hit and what we don't. Need to get some supply up here though. So let's get some for the artillery and the tanks. Some of our tanks out of ammunition. Wow, and another one down. I'm surprised. And this tank is pretty much completely out of ammo, so we gotta pull back. So those Flak 88s are way more valuable than initially thought. We'll get some of those on the line then. Luckily, the use of tanks was coming to an end at this point. After we hit this position, I was going to use the Stugs to hit this position and use everything else with infantry. Coming up behind them is going to mostly be a job for the infantry. Let's actually make sure artillery's on hold fire. Okay. Alright. Well, those T-34s are certainly dangerous. Luckily, throughout the battle, we've destroyed way more of their tanks than they've destroyed of ours. And I think just 2 are still functioning. And we're repairing our tanks that were damaged. And it looks like the Soviets are still surrendering and retreating. Right, that's a tank we can't save. Let's get some more ammo up here. Alright. Well, not too bad on our tank losses. Thank goodness it was just one of those Stug Fs. Both of those would have been a big F down below in the comment section for all that. And a big oof, too. 2 tanks remaining. I don't need those half-tracks. And the Flak 88s, as I thought, would have a little trouble firing. They're trying to fire behind all these wrecks, and it's hard to fire behind all that stuff because we're really just pushing deep into enemy territory at this point. It's just hard to see everything. There, we'll sit there, and that should take care of everything. Okay, more supplies on the way. Well, luckily they didn't get our infantry. They got our tanks, and like I said, as soon as we clear this position on the right, we are good to go. In fact, I don't think tanks would have even got close to that with that thing there. The 52K. Alright, let's get our guns firing again. I'll try to fire on the infantry at the front. On occasion, the shells will overshoot and eliminate stuff in the back. And since we're so deep in, I know we're going to need supply. This tank is going to have to reverse quickly. Got to get back to a supply vehicle. We don't have any shells remaining. That's how hard these tanks are fighting. So we've really pushed deep. And those Stug A's are really good at eliminating the enemy with... Gotta get that engine on. Oh, transmission is destroyed. Alright, so this vehicle will just have to sit here and pick off those tanks. Well, we do have another Stug we can get. Alright, let's see how this vehicle, or how this position's faring. Ooh. Wow, okay. Well, that artillery did the damn job. Cleared out a good number of enemy units there. Okay, there's a few tanks remaining, so let's go up there and deal with them with the infantry now. All good. I am full confident. Have full confidence in our ability here today. Losses are just kind of part of the game and part of the war. I wish we had something other than the Stug 3 Offs F, though. Though I don't know what else we could rely on. With this tank's transmission destroyed, we'll have to get it repaired from a different vehicle, some larger salvage vehicle. So we'll stand by with that. It's still it's a tank that's knocked out but not destroyed. We'll just need repair. All right, let's see if we can get rid of these tanks. Damn resilient. Definitely took a hit from an 88, and it wasn't a deflection. It went right through, it seemed. So an over-penetration, perhaps. Infantry getting ready to push. There we go. Third time's the charm. Soviets are just delaying the inevitable. This is going to be interesting. We might be able to get a shot over the top of that destroyed tank. Wow. We went damn through both of them. And actually track that other tank there. Alright, we'll have him continue to attack. In the meantime, let's get the infantry set. Tanks won't pose much of a threat. Alright, so for the next time, we're going to have to capture the position before the Soviets attack. There's no more time to set up for defenses. So we're just going to continue to bombard everything. That was great. Now let's see if we can get the Katyushas before they fire. Or possibly get them with the infantry. Position on the left only has an AT gun. There's a tank, though, and artillery, so we'll leave most of the infantry on the left. Well, let's bring half to the right. We've only got 2 squads. Good. Additional supplies here. Some of our tanks can be salvaged, so we'll get them back in fighting order. And luckily, we got a lot of Panzer IIIs. So we'll use them to clean up after all these tanks. All the tanks seem to have been knocked out. So let's get rid of that infantry. Okay, tanks are out of the way. Good. We got a few Panzer IIIs remaining. Stug 3As are really the only major loss that we took. Or Stugs in general, so we'll use that to hit that position like I wanted to. And everything else can go to the right flank. Now, do we have a position here to attack with? Well, unfortunately, just smoke rounds now. So that gun is useless. Alright, time to clean up. We're going to push through all the way to the back. Very small village there that we'll try to get to. And our infantry is already aware of enemy presence in the area. Lots of supply on the front just in case, and the tanks are arriving too. I'm going to just try to use them to clean up the roadway. Don't want to attack much further than this.
Fire!
Flak 88 doing a nice job watching the crossroad. And this vehicle can be repaired, but not yet, unfortunately. Transmission's just not going to work with us today. Alright. Any other vehicles? We got plenty more armor. Try some bigger tanks. These are essentially Panzer IVs, but with the Stuke gun. Oh, God. Damn. I honestly didn't think that they would fire those. Alright, let's grab those medics. Report of a Panzer being destroyed, but I think it's more just damaged. I just see some infantrymen down. We got wounded more than anything. Looks like they did get one. Damn. Well, sucks to be them. They were targeting a position where we had some tanks. But what they don't know is that we're sneaking up with infantry, and we're going to go faster with light tanks. I think that's the only thing I'll want to salvage from this situation. Interesting turn of events. It's nice to see the Soviets actually getting some good hits in here. Slowing us down, but not really changing the tide of the battle here. We still got Flak 88s up on the front. Really just a lack of infantry for us, because I can't get any more personnel to the front. I'm going to just get this squad here to defend the camp area. And one lucky shot. Oh, you know, that may have actually been heavy artillery. I don't know if that was a Katyusha. We'll see. Alright, we're about to capture a Soviet position, so let's just cut right in and go for it. Since we hit a lot of those positions there. All these small gun positions were really hit hard by our artillery. So let's hit them again. Now that the Katyushas are fired, there's really not much of a danger for us. Now let's get those medics to work. Sanitate los! Alright, hopefully that'll cover everybody. Alright, good. A lot of Soviet fire directed at our tanks and our main line. They're not trying to break through, but they're just trying to fire at us, which is great because now we can sneak around them without Katyusha or artillery fire. This is an opportunity. Friendly infantry moving up to that first line of cover. This guy's actually out of ammo. Oh damn, those guns have turned on us now. I still can't attack because they've got a large AT gun there. Okay, I'm going to get these guys to try to go to the crossroad. Oh, looks like one of the medics still has a soldier to get. Okay. A little bit of a battle for this area. AT gun destroyed. Excellent. We can use that to crush these Katyushas and fire on that position. Okay, these tanks will be for defense against any more T-34s. And Panzer II Lukes are coming through. Yeah, so I want to quickly cut through with those. Oh, looks like we need a medic up here. Got a man down. Let's actually do this. Let's get those medics up to the front. And we cut everybody into the front now. We'll go around this large pocket in front of us. We're closing a pocket now where thousands and thousands of Soviet soldiers are. So if we happen to lose a few tanks, the Soviets are losing hundreds more because they're not going to be able to escape this tank. They'll have to face our forces at all angles as they'll be encircled. Okay, cool little thing I did here is I threw a couple of soldiers onto the back of the Panzer II Lukes so I can try to get up there and save that one man. In the meantime, I'm going to try to stay back with these tanks and just use it to cut through any infantry. I'm trying to save that man. Oh damn, the Soviets have quite a large machine gun there, a Dishka standing by. Go, go, go. That thing can shred the side of our tanks, but at this point I now want to reshift priority to the infantry. We have very few of them compared to the tanks. Are you kidding? Oh boy. Okay, we've got a few minutes for a Russian attack. Damn, Katyushas are hitting us. Alright, time to roll in. Damn! They're lucky. Okay, we got our medics coming up. Are they still firing? They already fired 3 salvos. That should be enough. Okay, medic's got a rescue medic. Alright, at this moment, that's actually BS. They should not be able to fire that many times. But let's make sure we disable them completely. Actually, I think each gun might be able to fire twice, but sure as hell not going to be able to aim on the fly like that, like it's an ATGM. You see each one of those missiles fire? It's dangerous as hell. It's good that we got close. Fighting them from a distance that long would have ended up in a very bad situation. Okay, we got to get these guys up on their feet. Good thing we brought the medics up. And I will trade a tank for an infantryman any day. Alright, we got a minute and 36 seconds till the Soviets come up from behind us. Unfortunately, a couple of tanks destroyed by rocket fire. Luckily, I think we'll be able to break through here. Let's get a couple men on the back of this tank. On second thought, no time to stop. We're being attacked by that AT gun. That big anti-aircraft gun, actually. I'm going to try to stay behind any of their artillery. Oh, it's that gun there, the M37. Okay, that's out of the action. Good. If I stay here, there should be rocks in front of us. Why, this is a desperate gamble against an artificial clock now. Most of our troops are secure. Unfortunately, that large gun being taken out. That large anti-aircraft gun. Alright, we just need to swarm this position right now. Let's get these guys off the tank. Nope, nope, no, no. Okay, we got some wounded. Okay, worth it. Trench is clear. Okay, medics are coming up behind. Second wave. Enemy tanks should be approaching now. They are definitely coming up from behind our tanks. Okay, we got infantry standing by. They're actually firing artillery guns now at like point-blank range at us. That's the only thing that's hitting with that kind of explosion. And where's the... Okay. This is getting messy, but we gotta do it. Now we should have had that position clear, and that tank should be eliminated. Let's try that again. Alright, medics, do your thing. Soviet reinforcements are going to prove to be a little too late now. Alright. One of those tanks has been damaged. They'll try to recapture that position, but since we occupy it, they shouldn't be able to do that. We're really deep in the suck now. My reinforcements weren't able to get here before the tank. Looks like everyone here is ripped, so I'm going to go ahead and take them up. All the enemies are ripped anyway. Medics, you got to do your jobs. We got plenty of men here. Soviets don't know where the hell to attack from now. We caused a good number of distractions back there, allowing us to capture this position. Even though the Soviets have resistance. There you go. Alright, so, yeah, that timer continues no matter even if you capture the position, but it looks like the Soviets, no matter what, are retreating. So we've captured all their positions, meaning that they're abandoning these tanks, and that is that. Very good. Well, not too bad. I must say, the most frustrating moment for me was the Katyushas coming down on top of some of our tanks and having some very good accurate fire, and being able to swing and fire these things like it was a shoulder-launched bazooka. Look, even some of these vehicles were destroyed, and they became auto-rearmed. So they rearm even if nobody's there. But regardless, good times. Looks like the Soviets are surrendering to dead troops. Actually, they're still firing on them. Medics got to go back to doctor school, I think. That's right. Oh well. We'll get all those boys patched up, some of those tanks repaired. Most of them can be sent back to the front line. Excellent, boys. Yep, take no prisoners. Just open up on them. There you go. Alright. I'll see you all very soon. Hope you guys enjoy War Crimes. I'll see you soon for more Men of War Assault Squad 2. Thanks for leaving a like. Thanks for subscribing. And I'll see you all next time. Goodbye, everyone.